Greetings, Taekwondo family. Welcome to Miami Minutes, the show that will be down at the railroad tracks if you want an ass kicking. I am one of your hosts, John Parker. Bring it on.
You've been reading too many of our friend Alison Grimm's Facebook posts.
How did you know who inspired that intro?
Just every time she ever puts up anything, is always like, I'm down at the flea market if anyone wants an ass kicking. And then it's just an aggressive picture of her flexing her muscles and like glaring at the camera.
And it's my favorite thing about Facebook.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I had to steal it.
Yeah, that's all the people who don't know who Alison Grimm is. She features on several episodes of our sideshow, Bat Minute. This is what we call it, a sideshow, because it's like a sideshow freak. But it is kind of like a sideshow freak over there anyway. So
Exactly. It might be our main show, technically.
But it is a sideshow. Like, I mean, particularly when we did Batman Returns, because there's literal sideshow freaks on it. So.
Yeah, exactly. That is the sideshow movie, surely.
Yeah. But yeah, here, might as well just get this over with. It's me, Niall McGowan.
Oh, fine, you're fired. You don't want to do this anymore.
It's just the most sort of like, the danger's amping up, and then Angela's there to be like, oh, okay, better go get into a ninja brawl, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I don't know how do these guys know that Jeff's crew are ninjas? Like, are they even still technically? The only time they fought Jeff was just Jeff himself. Everything else has always been Dexy's crew. Dexy's Midnight Runners were the only other guys that they fought that midnight when they were running away from him.
Plus, are Jeff and his crew ninjas, right? They're in cahoots with the ninjas. They work with the ninjas. And they seem to have some kind of training. But are they... I don't think they're full martial artists, are they? I think they're just tough guys. They're tough guys.
Yeah. Oh, they prove how tough they are later in this very minute with their manly retching as they work out.
Well, speaking of the minute, it's minute 46. And the minute starts with uncovering the mysteries of the note. And it ends with Jane ready to lay the smack down on that candy ass.
I didn't know you had such a thing for Jeff, John. So.
Hey, I can quote The Rock whenever I want.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jeff has a thing for John in the minute as it goes. And that's not quite the thing that Jane believes either. But yes, we do come in with a bit too lengthy a shot of Mark attempting to read the note. It could be maybe it's just like, oh, Jeff's handwriting is really terrible, so he's just like, what?
He's just kind of staring at it like, yeah. It's like people trying to read my notes. It's absolutely the worst writing you've ever seen in your life.
Dear Murphy, you are irrevocably, I think, the Reggie Joe.
Well, we have to answer this once and for all, right? Is this a love letter?
I'm thinking, because Jane jumps to they all jump to conclusions. But then when we see Jeff later in the minute, he doesn't look like he's ready to fight. He looks like he's ready for like a night out. So I feel that maybe like he was there going like, let's come down. Because I think the note says like, come down to the railroad tracks, as John calls it. But it doesn't specify for like a rumble. It could be that he's always planning, you know what, I've listened to Dragon Sound quite a bit now, and, I think we can bury that. Maybe you get more, flies with honey than you do with vinegar. So maybe I can smooth it. Maybe his whole thing is like, okay, I can't get Jane to break up with him by, like, force. But maybe if I seduce John...
that would break them up.
And all I have to do is make him fall in love with me and then, get married. And then Jane has to break up with him.
And much like our friend Alison Grimm, his way of flirting is to say, meet me down at the railroad tracks if you want an ass kicking.
Yeah. It's like, well, I specifically said ass pounding. That doesn't necessarily mean kicking. That could mean several other things.
Yeah. But it's the past, and maybe he wants to keep his trysts secret.
That's true. That's true. He does have an earring. Very proud. I think we talked about it many weeks ago. But Jeff does have very prominent earring. Which earring? Because I know we got into it for Batman and Robin, or Batman Forever. Actually, Chris O'Donnell showed up because obviously Batman Forever, directed by a very out and proud gay director Joel Schumacher. And I think we theorized he put in an earring in Chris O'Donnell's ear to be like a bit like, well, it's either tough or it's the whole movie so aggressively like homoerotic that he's like, well, it's another element of that. But I can't remember which earring it is that's supposed to signify.
In the old sort of
yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that's kind of a myth, and also in this day and age, nobody should care. But also, I think it was a bit of a secret code, like the hanky code that we've talked about before.
The hanky-panky? Always full of hanky-panky.
The hanky-panky code. I believe, if I remember rightly, it was always said it was the right ear was the so-called gay ear.
It's whatever one I'm assuming Harrison Ford's isn't in.
Oh, because he's old school. He'd be like, I'm not putting in the gay ear.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got nothing wrong, no problems with them. But
I mean, unless he's been like, the whole time I've been trying to signify to people that my marriage to Calista Flockhart has been a 30-year sham.
Oh, she's a beard.
Yeah. And he's just been like, look at the earring. Everyone keeps making fun of it, but pay attention to what I'm... And eventually somebody will be like, Harrison, it's the wrong ear. He's like, God damn it.
Now, you know what? You say that people do make fun of it. They do. But I love it. Not just as someone who likes to wear earrings and things, but I respect that he just goes, I don't give a shit what you think. I'm wearing this earring. I want to wear it.
It's so odd, though, in that, like, it's from such a guy who's unflashy in every other way. He's such a, like, light brown shirt or off-white shirt, just basic jeans, and... all his socks are either white or black. Like that's.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's not got a cool look like I don't know. He doesn't dress like
like a Jason Momoa or someone who comes out and he's just like every time you see him now he's just more flamboyant by the day. It's like, all right, that's looking great, man. But like Harrison Ford is like white bread.
Yeah.
Except now he's chosen to have this earring and he won't let it go. Like it's
his one little bit of rebellion other than smoking weed non-stop, you know.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he's just so stoned all the time. He's like, I just haven't gotten me to take it out yet. Like,
he forgot he had it. Like, oh yeah, look, there's an earring. Yeah. But that's his connection to his past, I think, you know, because when he grew up, that was a bit rebellious and things. And yeah, and continues to be a weed smoker quite heavily. So maybe that's him connecting to his old kind of hippie roots a little, you know.
Yeah, okay. And, but no, I think I'm willing to believe that, like, he's trying to change tact here. He's just like, all right, I'll leave a little... That's why he was planning to have an origami, like, heart note, but he's just terrible at origami. So he's just like, I don't know, it's like... If I fold it this way, I guess it kind of looks like a penis, so that works, right?
That's a hint. Yeah, that's what guys like. Yeah,
be like that, was it Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Hunter Thompson trying to, like trying to come on some lady. It just passes her a note saying, backdoor beauty, ? And this is, I guess, Jeff's way of just like, all right, man. Like, I'm going to put, this is John's car, right? And then we'll get to it later in the minute, but like, he is not there in his like fatigues ready to like go out and start busting skulls. He's like, just for a night out. So I think he's going to be like coming in with like, all right, I got some champers, I've got some canapes, I've got all the cocaine you guys, because it is the 80s after all, so we know what we're doing here. And why is it, we call it the... Oh, you thought I meant the railway track? No, I meant we call it doing coke, going down to the railway track because we're doing rails of coke. You know,
that's what you call going down to Pound Town. You're getting railed.
Plus, I have a theory. I feel now because we're jumping the gun so much of the minute, but like I have a theory that is his office is just a bathroom. Like,
yeah, no, I'm the same.
It's like that's not an actual office they're filming that in. That is like a club bathroom. And I don't know if he's like the 80s Fonz, where he's like, my office is the bathroom, or it's like, oh no, it's just, I was doing so much coke in here that I was just like...
I just made it the office because I didn't want to leave.
Yeah, just bring in, I throw a desk over there, you bring in a plastic fern, there you go, we're done.
Although, if we are to believe the scene as is, It's the opposite of a love letter, isn't it? It's everyone seems very concerned.
It's a love letter like in Blue Velvet. Dennis Hopper's like, I'll send you a love letter straight from my heart, fucker.
Although it's interesting you bring up Blue Velvet, because I have written down, like, I genuinely think, I know you said it lingers and goes on, but that ties in as well. I genuinely think this is actually really good filmmaking at the start. They're giving it this moment, the kind of gravitas it deserves, complete with like an unsettling change in the score, which I got vibes of like Twin Peaks: The Return from the weird, the slow pace, and then the way the music is. Yeah,
the somber one note synth for a little bit there. That always makes me think of Peep Show. This was an episode where Jeremy and his band, they have super hands and stuff. They're asked to write a jingle for like an advert or something. I just remember he has a bit where he's just like, oh yeah, so if you want to create a sense of dread, you just go, and he's like,
just holds it for ages.
Superman's like, the longer the note, the more dread there is. It's like,
he's not wrong.
No, it's true. It's like Angelo, he knew it back in the 80s, I guess, where he's Angelo Giannotti, not of course Badalamenti, who did the music for Twin Peaks, of course, but
well, if Angelo Badalamenti did this score, that would be even more epic. Oh my god. Maybe he had a hand in this particular part, because it sounds like him to me, honestly. I genuinely think this is some of the best filmmaking, just this one moment of the whole movie.
I think we made fun there earlier of like, well, maybe Mark can't read Jeff's handwriting or something, and that's why I think, like, give it here. But I think it's to play devil's advocate. I think it is designed to be more that like Mark is reading this and it's just like, oh no, oh god, no, and he's taken a minute to be like, this is trouble, and then that's where they're like, his silence makes it more tense because they're like, well, give me that. What does it say?
Well, they don't want to tell him. Sorry, he doesn't want to tell them.
Yeah,
really, does he? He's like, well, what do I say?
It's like, well, I guess we're gonna have to go. We're going down to Pound Town to. It's like, but Mark, it's only Thursday. It's not Saturday yet. It's like, no, not that Pound Town.
Yeah, well, Saturday night's all right for fisting, but Wednesdays or whatever are all right for pounding.
Well, Zelton's gone now too. He'll never be able to change those lyrics or perform it live with that.
I get to hear him every week though, because All Elite Wrestling, everything comes back to wrestling, launched a show a few weeks ago called Collision. So now they've got two main shows. And on the show Collision, the theme song, because it's on a Saturday, is Saturday Night's All Right for Fightin'. And it gives it like a really old school feel. And at the start of the show each week, while that's playing, you're like, Saturday. You've got like the wrestlers just talking to the camera like they did in the 80s, like CM Punk going, tonight, Ricky Starks, I'm coming for you. It's like, oh, cool, this feels really old.
Yeah. Well, it worked back then. So, like, why not?
And some people were like, "Oh, Elton John is the theme. That's lame." It's like, no, that's amazing. That's great. It's supposed to be cheesy. It's wrestling.
Well, I guess it is also inherently sort of, again, a homoerotic sport. So having one of the most iconic figures of that community. It's like, do we have to have everyone wear the right earring? Was that?
That should be a policy on AEW Collision. Yeah, everyone wear the earring.
Although I don't know, maybe they might have rules against it because it's just like, oh no, you could tear those ears off with those things pretty easily. But
I've always thought that, right? But loads of wrestlers wear them. There's some wrestlers with nose rings, lip. What? CM Punk used to wear lip rings, and it's like, hang on a minute, if that got pulled, you could like literally split your lip in half.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Well, maybe it's designed to show how confident they are. It's like, don't even care. Or to show how competent the other wrestler is, where he's just like, yeah, I'll beat him up. But like, yeah, obviously you can do it without having to resort to tearing their earlobes off. Or
yeah, like that's how good I am. I don't need to take the low road.
Yeah. But yeah, so the John mentions, or he just mentioned, he reads the note. It's like about coming down to the railroad tracks, and it goes from Jeff. But just the way like Jane is not reacting to any of this. She's just
it's like she knows it's coming. Like, oh, for God's sake!
I could have got more. She was just like Jeff, and they're like, your brother Jeff.
Oh, she thinks it's just some other Jeff.
She's like, I know a couple of Jeff Capes. Famous British strongman, yeah, I know him. Jeff Bezos, of course, he's in my computer class because it's still the 80s. You know?
Oh my God, that could be. Yeah, he could be in this movie.
Yeah, you see the background of that class is like a full head of hair cascading down his back.
Oh,
vying for Jane's attention, but his circles were terrible in the computer class, ironically. So.
He was the worst at circles. They kicked him out.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to create a website that is so toxic to small communities.
Oh, when it started out, it wasn't. He just sold some books every now and then.
Yeah. But, well, it's blown up now. So.
I feel partly responsible. I remember my dad revealing Amazon to me because he needed to buy some new computer textbooks. And he was like, I'm going to get them off this new website, Amazon. They deliver books.
New website, Amazon.
Amazon. I was like, what? They deliver books? That's unheard of. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, I think it takes like 2 weeks to come or something. But, now I can order a book in the morning and it's at my house in the evening. Yeah.
I think it works so much better over here, too. I was talking to someone who lives in the U.S. recently, and they're like, oh, yeah, Amazon. They'll be like, oh, it'll be like a week or so. Even if you got Amazon Prime. It's like, oh, no, they're like, no, it takes like a couple of days to come. And it's like, the whole purpose of Amazon Prime is that it's next day delivery. Like all the streaming service and all the all that, and the delivery being free is sort of incidental. It's more
that's a bonus, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the crunch is like you need it. Sometimes it's there the same day. Like it's crazy. So
I've ordered things. I wasn't joking, listeners. I've ordered things in the morning and received them in the evening.
Oh yeah. I know because they expanded out to like proper shopping and everything at one point. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I get Korean soy paste, doenjang. I get it from Amazon like once every month.
It was friend of the show, Gary Gavigan. I've witnessed him several times. We're like, all right, do you need anything? I'm putting in a shopping order. And I was like, what, from Asda? I was like, no, from Amazon. And then within an hour, it's a big friggin' paper bag full of stuff marked Amazon, full of like basic shopping things. It's just the toilet rolls and your toothpastes and your butters and whatnot. It's all there. So
I get a delivery because I'm also on the subscribe thing. So once a month, I get some essentials that turn up. Very sexy here. I get cat litter once a month. I also get a pack of tuna for her, and it's all for her really. And I get the Feliway, which is it's like a thing you plug into the wall and it releases what cats use as a happy scent. When they want to be happy, they rub their smell on certain things. This releases that same chemical, so it makes your cat happy, basically. Yeah.
But maybe they found out though that like Jeff Bezos was trying to win over Jane's heart, but he got really jealous of John, so he tries to join up with Jeff's crew. And then Jeff's like, get out of here, you friggin' dork. Like
no nerds allowed.
Yeah. Oh, he would definitely be a no nerds allowed kind of guy. But then you find you find out that John's lifelong dream is to open a neighborhood bookstore or something. And Jeff Bezos says like, I'm gonna destroy him. It might take me 30 years, but I'm gonna demolish this guy.
And he finally did it. The madman. He finally did it.
And the irony is like the stress of that, just like just all his hair fell out. And that's
was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Now he's just like flying to the moon, hoping that Jane sees sometimes. But she's too busy. Yeah, she's too busy down the railroad tracks with John.
I'll tell you what she is doing, though. You say she's busy down the railroad tracks. She's busy looking fly. Look at that coat.
Yeah. She is like, I don't know where she's I'm assuming this isn't genuine for her because
it's the 80s. It could be.
I was thinking too as well because I guess Jeff would have got because we the next couple of minutes we get a very emphatic thing from Jeff where he's like, I do everything for you. So is he?
Oh, actually, that's a good point. That looks like an expensive coat. She's clearly personally not got money. The boys don't have money. The only person who might is Jeff.
Yeah.
So that's a drug coat.
Oh yeah, that probably it'd be probably stolen from a drug dealer or something.
Yeah, from a pimp.
Yeah,
it looks like a pimp coat.
Oh yeah, he's just like running people out of the neighborhood. He's just like any rivals. He's like, all right, and I'm taking the coat too. It's like Jane, just ignore the bloodstains there.
Jane's like. But Jeff, I don't want any coats that were, owned by people selling drugs to our community. It's like, but Jane, I sell drugs to the community.
Oh man! So I think the new what's it called, Outlaw Johnny Black. the thing from the people behind Black Dynamite. It's out really soon. It's like, oh my God, they're back.
Is it going to the cinema?
No, I don't think it'll be. I don't think it warrants that. Like that animated series didn't barely warranted a release, and that was amazing. So, no, I think it'll be. I'm assuming it's going to be straight to streaming, and we'll be able to download it like the day of release, hopefully. So,
if it ever does, for some reason, have a cinema release, we're going.
Oh, totally. I'm very much keeping an eye out because apparently the People's Joker it's been shown in Dublin, and Vera Drew's coming over for it. Brilliant. So I've been like, well, if you're coming, and I did say like on Twitter, if you're coming to Liverpool, and Vera liked it, so I'm like, I'm hoping things are coming into place, So
I mean, we'll edit this out because this is like very, But should we like message fact? Don't say we know her. Just say, is there any thought about getting this movie on?
We could do. I do know a guy who's worked in Fact for like 15 plus years now.
Oh, there you go. You got a little. Again, don't say like, I want you to play this for me because I know this person, and it's just be like, I was just inquiring because I would like to see this, in the cinema. And
you could even just do it on Twitter. You could even tag Vera in and be like,
yeah,
any chance, you guys showing us? Because I mean, it would be pretty swish if.
And it's only really going to be in Fact. It's not going to. Fucking Odeon's not going to play.
No. It'll be Fact or like. It'd have to be like one of those like underground cinemas that are like out by the fucking the railroad track, like down by the railroad.
Down by the railroad track.
But no, the James coat though, I can't see a fur coat like that now without thinking of Ghostbusters 2. Like it's just it's one of those things now. Just like, was expecting Jane to step in a puddle of pink slime and then them all to go, or maybe that's her weapon when she's in the ninja fight. She's just like, all right, attack, and then so the minks all come back to life. And
amazing.
So people poo-poo Ghostbusters 2. I was like, all that stuff's iconic. Freaking the mink coat coming back to life, the Titanic coming back in.
I was about to say, the Titanic's one of my favorite bits. It's amazing.
Slimer coming out of the hot dog carts. It's just like, that new one was pretty good, but like, there's nothing like that. There was no creativity in that regard at all. It was the same freaking villain for the first one.
Well, that's the thing. I did really enjoy the new one. As of recording, listeners, Afterlife, because obviously, when's the second one out? Next year?
I think it's like I think it's a weird one. They're like, oh, it's out December of 2023, and you're like, that's 2 months after October, you idiots. What are you doing?
But as good as it was, it doesn't hold a candle to Ghostbusters 2. I don't care what anyone. It's cool to hate it now. I'm not bothered. Shut up.
No, just it's the fact that everyone's dismissed Ghostbusters 2, including Bill Murray, all these people. It's just like, it's good. Like I don't know what you're like. It's literally a great film. Like I don't see what the issue is at all. And the new one's like, it's fine. Like it's got some great moments, but that's about it.
It's a lot better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, but it's still just like there's nothing in there. Like there's nothing as iconic as as Vigo or the pink slime or the mink coat coming back to life or the dancing toaster or any of those.
Or even what's his face, Janusz.
Nothing like that. The new ones is like, oh yeah, the little girl who played Egon's granddaughter. She was really good. Everything
she holds
else,
the thing together.
Yeah, everything else is just like, oh, you had J.K. Simmons there for 2 seconds, and you wasted him, and then the rest of everything else, all the iconography is all from the first movie. So it's like, well, you kind of crap the bed in that one. But oh well. But this is not Ghostbusters Minutes, although that is of course a show that I recommend everyone goes and checks out. So.
Yeah, that's a really old school movies by minute show now. That's like back in the first wave.
Yeah.
That's before we even started.
It's like they've been so long retired now that every time we bring out Brady Crane, one of the hosts of it, we have him on Batman every season, and he's because the past few seasons he's always just been like, "Oh, it's so good to be back in the community" and all that. It's like we never left. Like we've been here the whole time, but it's as if he's gone off and lived a whole life, and is coming back to like, "Oh, remember podcasting?" It's like it wasn't that long ago, man. Come on.
I don't know. For him, it probably when was his last show? 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think his brother did Hocus Pocus Minute, right? But
I think so. Yeah.
That was this is completely like it probably would date the episode quite badly, but I had a real beef with a viral meme that was going around that like, well, you see now that people are trying to like manufacture a Barbenheimer,
Oh, yeah, I'm already bored of it.
Yeah.
Barbenheimer was amazing. Don't force it. If you force it, it's not fun.
Yeah, but they also don't quite understand what it is. Like, they had, I think with Universal or whoever, like, we're releasing a Paw Patrol movie and Saw 11 on the same day. Which will you see both? And it's like, no, because one of those is for little kids and the other one's for very full-grown adults. And it's like, there's not. Whereas Barbie and Oppenheimer is like, the joke of it was originally that it's a Barbie movie, which you think would be for little kids, but it's directed by a very well-respected indie director.
Yeah.
And so all the people who would normally be lining up for acclaimed indie director Chris Nolan's like ponderous drama are actually going to be overseeing Barbie because it's out on the same day. That was the original joke, and it spiraled out of that. But I've seen people now going like, oh, there's this one going like, every 15 years we're asked to make a choice. And they were like, it was Barbenheimer, and then 2008 was Mamma Mia and The Dark Knight, which is like, okay, that's kind of...
That would be kind of fun, I guess.
It's kind of similar, too, in terms of like how drastically different films they are. But like it's not quite as diametrically opposed as Barbie and Oppenheimer. But then there were like Hocus Pocus and Free Willy.
No,
and that's like,
because they go hand in hand to me.
Yeah, they are both just mild family films.
Yeah, like I think I probably watched both of them around the same time.
Yeah, and you would even be like, oh, one of them's a horror movie. And it's like, Hocus Pocus is not a horror movie. It's a very mild children's film, as is Free Willy.
Yes,
and they're totally 100% hand in hand. And then the other one was like Jaws 2 and Grease, and it's like, no, even that to me is like, no, they're just kind of like they're just summer blockbuster kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
at least that.
Like, one's a musical.
It's totally different, like, genre, though. Whereas the Hocus Pocus one, it's like, well, they're not really that different.
No, I wouldn't call them different at all. And then, even Grease and Jaws, too, is like, well, they're both sort of brightly lit, light-hearted. Just one of them happens to be a musical, and the other one's about a killer shark. But, like, I always even put them in the same vein. It's like, well, you sit down with your 10-year-old and watch both and quite enjoy them. There would be anything all that. Whereas you wouldn't sit down with a 10-year-old to watch both Barbie and Oppenheimer. Again, they're so amazingly different. And then the fact that two studios released them on the same day, of course, one just to spite Chris Nolan as well. But he was even had another element to the jokes. It's like, that's what made it. It's a once in a lifetime thing. This kind of thing, just the fact that it occurred is what made it funny. Yeah, it occurred naturally, and then
it was totally natural at first. Absolutely.
Yeah. But now they will try to be like, well, kooky double bills is what you like, huh? I was like, no, that one time, don't force it. All right.
Well, and then I've seen loads of news articles. Can't remember if it was the BBC. It was someone like the BBC who don't get it either, because they'll be like, who won, Barbie or Oppenheimer? It's like, it's not a contest. That's the whole point.
The whole thing was to see in both of them. That was the whole point of it, was that you went to both of them.
It's not a versus.
Yeah. And plus, too, is like, well, who would win between them? I was like, well, Barbie would win because
Barbie's got a much broader appeal.
Yeah, it's a mass appeal. Like, Oppenheimer's going to be for, like, do you want to take your 8-year-old girl to see that? No. So
yeah, Oppenheimer is quite a niche movie. It's for people like me who like very boring history things. Yes. Whereas, like, a lot of the people I work with would be like, I'm not watching that under any circumstance. Whereas they'd go to Barbie.
It's weird because it's made in from watching it. All the stuff leading up to like the creation of the Manhattan Project, I was like, this is such Batman Begins energy. Like, it's full on, like all the little thing of like Bruce Wayne creating the Batarangs and flinging them at the wall, and them all talking about like, well, you're gonna have to get your mask ready, and then like putting together the bat suit, and then all cut the same way was them all, who are we going to hire for this? What are we going to do here? Oh, let's put these marbles into this jar. Cut to him putting on his iconic hat and pipe. And it's very like, this is Batman Begins. It's the same exact, you just know it's the same.
Begins.
It's the same, it's the same guy who made it. He's like, oh, it's the same kind of music, the same kind of editing, the same general.
It even treated Einstein like a sort of character in a Batman, I think, that he's gone to visit.
Oh, totally. And Tom Conti was perfect in that.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if Michael Caine hadn't retired, that would have been the Michael Caine part. Because Chris Nolan always hired Michael Caine. And there's no way, it would have been really distracting. Because Tom Conti is like, if you know who he is, you're like, oh, it's Tom Conti. But he looks so much like him. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is Einstein. But it was Michael Caine going like, oh, right, rub it. I understand your concern about destroying the universe or whatever.
Oh my God, Michael. Because let's be honest, not good at accents.
No.
In fact, to the point where he's a bit like some actors, he just didn't bother doing them after all.
No. He's just a Connery. Let's see. Also the star of a Jaws sequel as well. What film opened against Jaws: The Revenge, actually?
Oh my God. As a kid, I was foolish and I was like, Jaws: The Revenge is the best one because it's the new one.
I could get on board if they were like, yeah, that weekend it was Grease 2 and Jaws: The Revenge. I was like, oh, here's a double bill we can talk about.
But we should probably talk about the minute.
Yes.
So John, as you say, he asked for the note. He reads it himself. Bad news, baby. Jeff wants to fight. Although it's a bit awkward, I thought. The way it kind of ties into what you're saying about Jane's lack of reaction. The way the camera just sort of hangs on her.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's blaming her. The camera is blaming her. I'm just like, hey, it's not her fault her brother's a dick. She's tried.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I can't do it. I feel so bad saying about the actress, but she's just not a good actress. So there's just this would, and another proper professional working actress would be like, this is a moment you'd kill for to get a reaction shot to oh, my boyfriend's going to get killed by my psycho brother. And all his friends are in danger now. This would be you might want to, you can go big with it, you can go subtle with it. But she's just it's as if she's she's taken everyone's lunch order and she's waiting for them to say, she's just there, notepad off screen, just scribbling it all down, looking up and okay. So, and that she is just oh, my friend Jeff Capes, acclaimed British strongman. Jeff Goldblum's gonna meet you in the railroad tracks. Does he specifically say for a fight though? Because I think he just says meet me down in the railroad tracks tonight.
Well, yeah, but it's the implication. If you ask to meet someone down at the railroad tracks, I mean, there are only two things that are going to happen. There's going to be a fight or a fuck.
But John, Jeff would never hurt Dragon Sound. He would never hurt Dragon Sound, but they think that he might. Exactly. Because of the implication.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe he's not actually intending to beat them up now. Maybe he's like, all I need to do is kind of put the implication out there.
Although he did also have Dexys coming in with his. Although Jeff's opinion of Dexys must be so low because again, this Dragon Sound stole our jobs and then beat us up when we tried to beat them up.
It's hang on a minute, wait, you didn't get a single win over these guys,
and then you're offering me your wages for the rest of your life just to get your job back. And you get that job back, you're going to pay me all the money that you get for it.
So what's the point in the job?
Yeah, you guys are idiots. I'm assuming freaking toddler could beat you people up because these dragons. All you need to do is write the note. That'll scare them off. But
I do like the way though you get Tom because he's wondering what to do. Should they go and meet? Because they know exactly what's going to happen. A fight, not a fuck. But I imagine, it's going to happen one way or another anyway. If they don't go and meet him at the railroad tracks, he's just going to find them and sucker punch them.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I think, no, there's no, there is no getting out of it now. It's the fact that the Rumble invite has been thrown down.
And a real gentleman cannot refuse.
Of course, yeah. There's going to be in a real musical, this would begin the song of the West Side Story, they're going to be a rumble tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. I think maybe that's Angelo. He's oh Christ, so better get this over with. It goes over, starts composing a song for the musical number. All right, no, give me a minute. It's
I call it There's Going to Be a Rumble Tonight, just do a different version. In fact, Michael Buffer, the announcer from the boxing and the wrestling, was always, let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah, so he still shows up and stuff. I think he's in freaking Creed 3, that guy. It's you're still going, man.
He doesn't seem to age either.
Oh, yeah, it's every time. It's there's that guy again.
Yeah.
I think he was in, Rocky 1, probably, as well.
Michael Buffer, though, is trademarked Let's Get Ready to Rumble, so you can't do it in that style. So
oh, my God, he must have demolished PJ and Duncan back in the 90s. Jeez Louise.
Well, I don't know when he did it. I'm trying to think.
That's why Ant and Dec have to do so many TV shows. We're still paying off. That freaking Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy.
I'm going to see. Right, here we go. Buffer used the phrase Let's Get Ready to Rumble from 1984. In 1992, he acquired a trademark for the phrase. So you can't do that. So Angelo can't put "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" in the song.
But so
well, actually, it's before '92, so he technically could.
Oh yeah, no, I think he's Angelo as well. That's right. So I guess Ant and Dec or PJ and Duncan as they performed under they get in bother for that because they are maybe it's just like you can't say it at an announcement thing. But you can put the lyrics, you can write it as lyrics and something, I guess. Maybe there might be a route around it that way. But
let's find out. Oh, because their song came out 2 years after. Oh, here we go. There's a section about it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, my God. This is amazing. This is the greatest thing I've ever read.
Is it true that is that the reason they have to do so many TV shows is because now we're still paying off friggin' asshole for Let's Get Ready to Rumble?
It's even better. Have you seen how it's spelt?
No.
Let's get ready to RHUMBLE. Rumble, right?
This is some vanilla ice crap right here.
Yeah. It says the song includes a repeatedly used sample of boxing and wrestling announcer Michael Buffer saying his famous trademark. Rumble was deliberately spelled RHUMBLE to avoid copyright problems since Buffer trademarked the phrase, and the chosen additional H was an homage to the Rumba dance. It's like, oh, we're not saying that, Michael Buffer. We're talking about Rumba.
Maybe that's why too they didn't release it under Ant and Dec. They released it under PJ and Duncan. It's like, oh, so if anything happens, you will be suing the characters we played on Biker Grove. But us, Ant McFarlane and Dec, whatever his name is, we're totally in the clear. Those two guys over there. That's what you want to be suing.
That feels like such a cheap loophole. Come on, for one time on the side of copyright, Michael Buffer's correct here.
No, that's just again. It was just crazy for that in the early 90s. It's just like Vanilla Ice got away with it. So, just came in and basically you're damn right. I ripped off a famous riff, but I put a little at the end. So that's mine now, baby.
Although my favorite version of it was always when Triple H was in DX, the team, they were degenerates. He had his own one and changed it. That made, even as a kid, I was like, that doesn't really make sense to me. Because he would just go, hang on. DX's phrase was they would always say, suck it.
Let's get ready to suck it.
Yeah.
Really?
Right. Yeah, because their other one, like one of them, Billy Gunn, would always go, they'd be like, I got 2 words for you. Suck it. The crowd would join in. But Triple H, he would always go, let's get ready to suck it. And I was like, wait, so you're sucking it?
That's really getting into the Happy Gilmore, like, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit.
It's exactly that. Even as a kid, I was thinking, wait, so you're sucking my dick? What's going on here?
And the whole thing is, too, it's just like, so, I know you all think it's a very manly sport, but one of the guys' phrases is, let's get ready to suck it, is like, all right, well, yes. What? Oh no, she got a pierced ear on the right side there.
Well, yeah, Triple H run to you.
Yeah.
Maybe Michael Buffer as well.
Well, he is the buffer, between.
We're outing everyone here. This is shameful. Of us,
of course, no. I'm thinking of his cousin Michael Fluffer. Who was...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Michael Fluffer needs to be the name of the episode. Oh, this is off the rails, as usual. That's the best thing about this show. That's why you listen.
That's also meant to mention, also not to drag us back into Oppenheimer talk, but like, I love that like every single person in it was played by it's so-and-so. Like, it's a very recognized...
every single person.
And like, literally, even like the Congress board, that Robert Downey Jr. is testifying against, like, all the black and white bits. Are like, oh, that's the mayor from Buffy. Like, there he is. Like, the mayor, and then the guy sitting next to him was like, isn't that guy who was on Jeopardy with Joey in that episode of Friends? It's like, even like the little parts are just like, oh, it's that guy from that thing. It's like such a densely like populated with like, oh, so we need this guy to have 5 lines. Who should we go get for that? How about Academy Award-winning actor Rami Malek for? We'll get him in for 5 seconds.
He literally had like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
And they were great scenes, but that was it.
Maybe it's designed that way, though, because it's such a long film, and then his part only becomes really important near the end. So, like, you have to have... People won't remember who that character is because it's some guy you met fleetingly years and years ago. You might have to be like, it's the guy from Bohemian Rhapsody. It's Freddie Mercury is who it is. And so then when you see him again, you're like, oh yeah, I remember now they met Freddie Mercury. Yeah.
I was surprised there weren't like other people though, like even like Bobby Cannavale, throw him in. I could imagine him.
Oh, could they throw in that old cheesy thing about the one, like the people holding out against Downey Jr. One of them was like some nobody from Texas called John F. Kennedy. It's like I'm surprised if there wasn't like a pronounced thing of like it's having Bobby Cannavale or someone come in to be like, there he is, like there's a JFK lookalike.
That'd be amazing. I like that bit because that is actually true that it is him who was one of the holdouts, but it's just done in such a way for you to be like, oh my god, they talked about Kennedy.
I think it's all very much in Nolan's wheelhouse too, because again, like at the end of Dark Knight Rises, where he has to throw in the little thing about like Joseph Gordon-Levitt signing a form and the girl been like, oh, you should use your middle name. It's much nicer. Robin. And it's so cheesy and but it's the same energy of just like, by the way, the guy who signed the thing was JFK. And you're like, whoa. It just has to throw in the little very punched square in the teeth Easter egg of like, I get it, Chris. Yeah. Like, why don't we have him getting shagged? And then the Florence Pugh makes him read the line. I am now become death.
Oh. Did you hear though? India have complained about that big time. There's like an uproar about it. Like, that's disgusting. That's disgraceful. You're treating this with like no respect.
No,
I kind of understand where they're coming from. It's a holy time.
I think all that. It's very cheesy, but it's like it ties in though in the fact that like all his guilt, coming up later on reminds him of him rejecting Florence Pugh and then her end up killing herself, and it's all tied into like, I've already got one death on my hands that I blame myself for, and now I've done it again. And it's the same.
Nobody should reject Florence Pugh.
Oh, she looks stunning in it. She's actually, I actually think her acting's a bit too vampy in it. So it's very like, this is very cheesy and over the top. But oh my god, she looks great. She's just.
I thought that was the point of the character though. Like, she's just there as the seductress kind of.
Yeah, I think maybe in a biopic you're like, well, it's an actual person, but it's just very like, it feels like she's in it'll be a good performance in a different film, but it feels very like Cillian Murphy's giving it like, I am the man, and I was listening to him interviewed. Oh yeah, because he was interviewed by Mark Maron. And it's again maybe it's an Irish thing, because like Mark Maron was saying like, yeah, I interviewed Austin Butler after he played Elvis, and months later he was still doing the Elvis voice, and he couldn't shake the mannerisms, and he was so invested in the character and stuff. And he's like, oh, you're incredible, because like I've seen footage of you on set full on in Oppenheimer mode, and then as soon as they call a cut, you just slump into a different guy. Yeah. And Cillian Murphy's just like, I got rid of the character pretty easily. Yeah,
he's like, well, I'm an actor.
It's like, yeah, again, it's like that thing I always said about the that Riddler song that Frank Gorshin did, and how amazed I was in like just the footage of it, and him on the Dean Martin show performing that song, because he starts off and he's just like Frank Gorshin. And then he goes in the song, and the way he just instantly changes all his body motions, and his voice goes into "Riddle me this, what do you call?" And it's like, oh, he just became the Riddler like in front of my eyes. It's like amazing how he just did. He's like a proper actor. It's incredible.
An actor, darling.
Yeah, and as soon as he's done, he's just back into Frank Ocean. It's like that's how. Fair enough. You get your Austin Butlers or your Christian Bales. Where it's like, no, I can't get rid of the character. But I think it's more impressive when it's like, oh no, I did it, and then I was able to just go, yep, now and I'm back. So, but Jane, I feel she still apparently hasn't shook the character that she's been playing. Oh, and the guy played Jeff. He's still going around with the earring.
To this day, they're just living. And that guy with the little tiny shorts from a couple of minutes ago, he just wears them all the time. To the shops, everything.
Yeah. As far as they've shrunk as well. It was around him. So he's he says they've shrunk, but like,
And as you're aging, you apparently droop. Some stuff might be sticking out of one leg. I can't confirm or deny.
Yeah. Long balls, Larry. Long balls. Change your drawers.
Well, we gave that guy a name. I can't even remember now. I was going to call him Long Balls, whatever we called him. But
what did we get? I remember Vader was that what was the big guy as part of Jeff's crew. We had a whole. We're going to have to go back to those episodes now to look when those characters recur. It was like, oh yeah, we had Vader, and then I think we had like junkie Axl Rose was the other guy or something.
Well, when we're done with the show, we're just going to start over. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
We promised. We said at the beginning 10 years.
we have to go back through, of course, to take notes for the novelization that we are now contracted now, a verbal contract to write that book. So
I do feel like we have to.
I mean, if I had the episodes if they weren't so long, I would happily can we find which ones we brought up? I would go and take all the notes down and be like, let's go do this thing. But it would have to be the dedication to sit and listen to 90 hours of whatever.
That's not that much in the research for a book.
That's true.
When you put it that way.
People say, what was your research? It's like, I had to listen to the podcast we made where we made offhand jokes about what the book was going to be.
Oh, Jesus. So we better get on with it so we can have some stuff for the book.
Okay.
So, John thinks the same as me. They've got no choice. Well, I assume it's John, because it's clearly been added in post. Do you think that this scene just originally ended on Mark's face in deep contemplation?
I think it would be a better ending for that as well, because having Angelo saying I guess we better go and we better go and so he says. What does John say again? He's like, what's the exact line?
Oh, hang on, I'll have to get up there. I have a different video with the subs on.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, what are we going to do here? I guess we have no choice. Let's meet those guys and get it over with. That's it.
So it's John saying, let's meet those guys and get it over with.
I mean, it doesn't say in the subs. It doesn't name who's speaking. So this is why it's a bit difficult. It sounds like it's him to me.
I think it causes confusion, that line, because, not just because we're obviously very confused now and having to go and look up the actual words, but it seems as if they're going to go do it right now.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Jane go into the gym where Jeff is. And he's there, you see at the end of the next minute, he sits down to do some work. He's in the middle of freaking doing his taxes or something.
It's like, Jane, what are you doing? I'm not going down to the railroad tracks for another 4 hours.
Yeah, so they might all be there. Okay, well, let's go. Because I guess he doesn't specify a time in the note. So they're just like, are they down there now? So do we have to go down and wait? So the Dragon sounds just there, just like, it's been 5 hours. Where the hell are they?
It's a prank. He's never going to go. He's not intending to go. That's why he's dressed up. He's going out of town.
Yeah. That actually would be the best kind of revenge. She's like, I got those assholes to stand out in the cold all night. And then I went out and freaking I went down to Pound Town, the club, of course. And
oh, yes, the most popular club, Pound Town.
That's why now he's so happy because it's the one night Yoshido's not there. He's like, oh, thank God. And I have to have that guy pawing at me the whole time. I can go down and enjoy myself. That's why he's more dressed up for it. He's like, oh, I'm going out to get late tonight.
We're going to rename the Facebook group to the Miami Minutes Pound Town Society. So
I think actually, though, leaving it ambiguous, though, so what are we going to do here? Is and then having Mark just staring in thought is kind of it's more of an ominous threat of what are they going to do?
It gets enough of it. You know exactly what it says. You don't need the other bit, really, do you?
No.
I would have liked it. Maybe they were going that way and just thought, that's a bit too ambiguous for the audience we're going for.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't think you need it. Again, now it does add in the confusion of he didn't specify a time on the note. And then Jane goes to meet her brother, and he's it's not just him there. It's the whole friggin'. It's clearly all footage shot from that same day where we first went to the gym, because that same the same jean wearer lady with her kind of the sweatshirt rolled up is there on the same machine and stuff. So unless that's still just her gym outfit, it's just my my itty bitty jeans. I go to the gym in all the time.
Every time, gotta wear that. Gotta get on this machine first.
Yeah. Just fair play for, we keep talking about Jeff Capes. He'd be proud of some of because people don't know Jeff Capes is a big 80s strongman. He used to just, throw big heavy balls and stuff on TV. And was just very famous for going, whenever he did anything. And going down to this gym is just it's not, you think it sounds like some people are being sick or something in the background. You hear real
hey, it gives you power.
I do remember years ago going around to my friend's house one night and didn't realize that a group of them were randomly working out in the living room.
As you do,
Yeah, I just remember, like, it was on the ground floor, and the window was done. So I go ring the doorbell, nothing. And then, like, this is like Willow and Ross and Zach and stuff.
And seriously?
And they're in there probably working out shirtless. And Zach been like, oh yeah, come on, food, a burn, yeah, let's go. I was just standing there with my 6 cans ready to for that drink, and what the hell are you guys doing? It's like,
hey, come on, bro, join in. Have some iron.
All right, just ripping the shirt off. Let's go.
Just dudes being bros.
Yeah, well, they were dudes just being bros. Get the. And then it
was their Kenergy.
It was, yeah, they work enough. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the bro energy in this room, even though there are several women in this gym. Very heavy douche bro energy. And I think friggin' guys trying to commit suicide basically here, because Jane comes in. And then they got some sleaze back. I'm not going with a proper hey baby, where you going? All the sleaze. They must. How could they not know that that's Jeff's sister? And his whole thing is that he wants to kill her boyfriend because he doesn't want anyone going out with her. So
and that's the thing. What makes these guys think? Oh yeah, but he wouldn't beat me up.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure just because you're in his gang, that's not going to stop him.
I mean, maybe this isn't a member of the gang. It is a public. I assume it's Jeff's gym, and this is all his crew. But
I think it's his crew. I think they just took over this place. They didn't even buy it or anything. They just moved in.
Oh yeah, they're squatting. They're doing squats while squatting in Jeff's gym. And then he went over. It was originally called Jeff's Gym, JEFF. Of course, Jeff himself is GEOFF.
I love how you've decided that, but the credits say otherwise. But it doesn't matter.
They go over and just paints it. It just paints the big GEO on top of it.
You know what? Actually, as she's walking through, I spot 4 topless guys have 4 drinks, or one just drink an entire glass of wine.
Oh, you were on the wine for this one. It seems sort of a. For gym scene, I wouldn't advise wine myself, but
that's all I had in.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't go to the shop specifically to record the show. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do, but usually I'm just like, what have I got in the cupboard? Oh, I've got some wine. I'll pour a little bit of wine.
Yeah.
So 4 people take a whole massive load of alcohol down your gullet and vomit all over the place like you've worked out too much. Luckily, I've never actually done that. I've got very, very dizzy. But I've never actually puked.
That's when I was going in for Barbenheimer. The Odeon is on top of that giant escalator in town.
Oh yeah,
and that escalator was broke. So I was like, I can just run up this. And then
oh no, you forget how big those steps are.
Oh yeah, no, near the top it was a real people going is Jeff Capes going to Barbenheimer? Yeah. It just does that during the atomic bomb bit. the eerie silence and just.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so this guy's future dead man there sleazes on Jane, and she again talking about Barbenheimer, Barbie mentions the type of thing women have to deal with every day. Apparently, just mind their own business, going in the office to some dipshit coming over and being like, "Hey, baby."
This is the thing. I know you might think, well, I don't see that very much. That's probably because you're with the woman in question physically. When they're on their own, trust me, ask most of the women in your life. This happens.
Oh, yeah.
And it's insane to me that it happens. I can't understand.
It's as if Jane now is going to go oh, hello.
Yeah, has that ever worked? Has anyone ever gone, hey, stud?
We were doing earlier in the movie. It was supposed to be comical when Angelo did it, but it's
yeah.
These are the bad guys are doing it too. It's bad behavior. It's bad.
Yeah, but they've
form.
got bad juju.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we go into Jeff's bathroom office. And again, it's that weird back wall. It's the reflective tile back wall. It's maybe in 87, maybe it was, but that looks like a bathroom wall to me. Like a swank.
Yeah, I very rarely have seen that. I've seen maybe a marble, but that doesn't look like that to me.
No. I'm actually quite surprised at the adeptness of the filming crew here, because it's so reflective. You see Jeff and Jane's reflections in it, and the reflection of the light above them. but you don't see the cameraman, which was I was really hoping. Like, God, there's no way they'll be professional enough to know to not have the cameraman just be standing in the reflection. But no, surprisingly enough, they did it. They managed to keep him out of shot. So
yeah, I combed through trying to see a slip up, and I mean, maybe there is one. I can't spot one.
Yeah. Of course, when David Lynch was directing the scene, you saw one of the set designers in the background, and he ended up becoming the main villain of the show, which is
yeah.
That's how originally there was no Jeff in Miami Connection.
He was just a carpenter.
Yeah, because the carpenter on set, and then YK Kim caught his reflection in the back of a shot, and he's like, "That guy, he's gonna be our main guy now."
The thing I always hate though about that Twin Peaks thing, like, because it's great story, but people always get it wrong, and they always go, "Oh, you know that shot in, like, is it the pilot or whatever, where you see a reflection in the mirror of the guy? That's the shot where David Lynch saw him by accident." It's like, no, that's not how it happened. It's not filmed. Like, well, it is filmed, but it wasn't in the show.
Yeah.
He saw it in a take and was
like,
wait a minute.
Add that in now. But yeah. But again, too, it's just all like we got a whole mythology out of just been like, hey, let's put that in there. That was pretty good.
I still feel bad for the actor though when Laura's mum's like, "Oh, his filthy, greasy hair." It's like, that's just how he looks in real life.
As they go all on set, they're all like, "No, he needs to get that hair sorted." It's like, he never dates, and I know it's because of that hair.
That poor guy. He had nice hair.
He had great mane, Frank Silva. Yeah,
he looked clean to me.
Yeah. I don't know, double denim, always a bad sign. Because denim's a thing. It's like, I think a lot of people are like, "Hey, you never need to wash it, do you?" It's like, no, you do.
You do.
Yeah,
like, I don't care what anyone says. Wash your clothes.
It's all terrain material. It's like. It's a jean jacket. Why would I wash the jeans if you don't have to wash the jean jacket? Like,
but there's only so much crotch sweat that can soak into something. You know?
Yeah. Although you guys know throughout the show too, Bob has a selection of double denim outfits. It's like, he just in my head he's like, he's always wearing the same outfit. It's like, no, a couple of times he changes. It's like,
I love the thought of the spirit, Bob going, today I think I'm going to wear this one.
Well, that's always the thing in when Cooper's vision of the future. And when he goes into the Black Lodge, and then later on in season 3, he's wearing a different tie all the time. You're like, is he just in the between going like, I think the red stripe today?
Yeah, he has to live a normal life. He gets up every morning, brushes his teeth, has to go, I'll put these pants.
It's their birthdays in the Black Lodge. So they come up and you're giving him a tie. Like, oh, thank you.
That was for his anniversary of being there for 10 years. There you go.
I could use a new tie, actually.
Then after 15 years, he got that little badge he's wearing.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know whether how much of our Jane and Jeff talked, because the entirety of the next minute is these two fine thespians going at it.
There's not really much we can talk about here. I suppose there is one bit that's important. Jeff goes to give his sister a hug, and she is not having it. She's like, right, look, I don't care. You've pissed me off now. I mean, he should have pissed her off before, but this is the final straw, isn't it? It's like, no, end this. I'm not giving you a fucking hug until you fix this.
I think there's also, she comes in, he's like, Jane. And then he goes to like give her a kiss or a hug or something. And then she randomly goes, I'm fine, by the way, but that doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think maybe the implication there, or what their intended point was, that like she's like, you didn't even ask how I am. But she's going, I'm fine, by the way.
Yeah, because that would be what you would normally ask your sister. Like, oh, hey, how are you?
Yeah. Actually, I don't even think she says, by the way. I think she says, I'm fine, but that's not important right now, or something. And it's more like, it should be, I'm fine, by the way, kind of thing. But yeah, because he just is like, Jay. But so I thought it was a bit of a clunky.
See, I'm the other way, right? I know what you're saying, but I think this whole scene, this bit and coming up, I think it's her best acting.
Yeah.
I think it's the best she's done in the film. To me, it felt kind of natural. It didn't feel so studied. It felt like maybe a real conversation. Because she does say, I've been looking all over for you. How could you do this to me?
Let's see. I'm gonna put a pin in in Jane's performance for the next minute, because
I like it. I mean, I'm comparing it to the rest of the film. I think it's her best
she's bringing a certain energy to it, but we'll get into it.
Well, that she didn't have at the start of the minute.
Yeah, yeah. I also just have to point out just a little shout out to our sideshow, our main show sideshow. Mm-hmm. It's just because every time somebody, I think that instilled from us doing Batman '89. Anytime someone asks or says about someone being fine or whatever, just reminds me of classic moment at the start of one of the first episodes of a Movies by Men we ever recorded, John. And Jack Napier looking at himself in the mirror, and Alicia coming up behind him and been like, "You look fine," and him just been like, "I didn't ask."
Yeah, classic line.
What an asshole.
Maybe Jeff should have said that to her. Well, I didn't ask.
Yeah. They would have been beating them. Like, this is 87. They would have been like, "Oh, they're going to see Batman 2 years later." Like, it's the right thing.
Now, he wouldn't do it, because that's the one thing that's good about Jeff. He does love his sister.
That's true. Yeah, he does have he's one redeeming quality, but
yeah, a bit too much. I don't mean that in like a sleazy way, but a bit too much in the point that it kind of drives him to do bad things.
Oh yeah. He comes out with some demented stuff too next minute as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can all leave it for 4 then, because
although I think another drink, right? Because there's only a tiny bit here, but it's family drama.
Yeah,
she's rejecting the hug. Have another one.
This is total family drama, yeah.
And there's going to be more family drama next minute, so prep your drinks for next week.
It's literally a minute of nothing but talking about Dragon Sound and family drama. If Jeff ripped off his shirt in the middle of the conversation, it would have been a perfect drink minute. But
if only we would have been getting a little hot under the collar, though. But the only other thing I've got really specific is the commentary track, which hilariously is not specific because they decide to completely ignore everything that's going on in this minute and randomly start talking about villain attire.
That's the least villainous Jeff has looked the entire film.
I know, yeah. I think they're just bored.
Yeah.
The villain with the noose around his neck at all times.
Oh, yeah. The Scarecrow
right,
from Batman, yeah.
The Scarecrow. That noose was the actor's own creation. It was his idea. I love that for him.
Well, he just gave us like, because it's a cool, weird gang thing to do. A psychotic gang. I was like, I got my weird, my weird embellishment that I have to come up with.
I think that speaks to the collaborative nature, and it not, like a big studio production, you can't really bring a bit of your own self to a part unless you're a lead, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this, being a small, I was going to say small budget. It's not small, but it's quite a big budget actually. But relatively speaking, Hollywood standards, small budget, inexperienced crew. So they're like happy that this guy has gone, what about this? Like, oh my God, yeah, that's great. Do that. If you did that in a Hollywood movie, they'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Let's wonder what the guy's like. The character though, why he's wearing this, he's just like, I'm such a badass. Like they want I've got the he's just like, I've got the death penalty on 6 systems.
That's basically it. I think he's like, I'm ready to die.
Yeah. He's like, I'm so wanted by the cops. They already got the noose around my neck, man.
So cool.
It's a guy who just got arrested one time, and they're like, oh yeah, give me the death sentence, but I managed to get out. And they're like, he was like arrested for like public urination or something, a night in the cells because he tried to swing for a cop or something.
It'd be like me saying I did time when I spent like an evening, not even a night, an evening in a jail cell.
An evening in the cell.
Yeah, I did time, man. You don't know what it was like.
I went there and got a light dinner. I was out in time for Trevor McDonald's.
I had to sit in that bed for 2 hours, man.
But no, it's some sort of like, because everything about those guys is just like trying to embellish their hard assness. So
yeah, which makes sense for all the characters.
Yeah. Oh, it's weird though, because Jeff seems like he would have no time for that kind of thing because he is genuinely like, he seems like he is a tough psycho. So people going around trying to play act being tough guys. I can imagine him being like, what the hell? Like, you freaking fakers. But I guess maybe just, you're like, you can't choose your goons. They're just like, well, these are the guys. The only other people volunteering were those Dexys Midnight Runner guys. And they were thinking an idiot trying to give me all his life's wages for the rest of the time. So.
I think you're onto something with that, though, because, like, the one thing with Jeff as well is he is genuinely tough. He is a fighter. He is hard. So I think the gang almost feel like they've got to try and live up to that.
Yeah.
And they can't because they're just foot soldiers, like they're nobodies. Jeff doesn't give a shit.
I really feel there should be a scene, though, of like, the one that's got trying to play, and just not realizing that he was like coming on to Jane, and then Jeff seeing that and like doing a full blown like friggin' like the mountain in Game of Thrones, like crushing Pedro Pascal's head with his hands, like that kind of level of like, what did you say to my? Because then we already know that the threat. I guess the threat's already very well established. But just to see Jeff been like, what did you say to my sister? And then like actually like destroy one of his own people.
Yeah, what I would have liked is that, and basically he would come out from the back and basically say to the guy, right, let's fight. Like, come on, show me what you got.
Yeah.
Like he would challenge it. He wouldn't just beat him up. He would challenge him to a martial arts contest and beat the shit out of him like that. It'll
be one of those things too of like, he rules by fear. So even the guy might be all like, no, I'm sorry, Jeff. It's like, no, we're talking about size. No, Jeff, we really don't have to. Like, no, come on out. No, I want to see what you're made of and stuff. And then the guy was literally just been destroyed by Jeff and them and like, well, I proved myself, right?
That would actually be a really good addition to this scene. And it would add like another level to Jeff and make him scarier, because like, he even does that to his own guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit.
I don't know if it'd be better though for Jane to see it, or he waits until she's gone.
That's an interesting choice to make. Yeah, because maybe he would want to do it in front of her to tell her he's protecting her, but maybe he wouldn't because he knows she won't like it.
Yeah, but at the same time, he already knows that like. Well, she knows I've challenged her current boyfriend to fight down at the railroad tracks.
I think he thinks he's getting away with this and that she's not fully aware. Like, as if the boyfriend isn't going to just tell her. He seems to be surprised that she's, like, clued up.
I think it might just also be like, well, they thought that was tonight. Oh, damn it. Or maybe he's like, I didn't write that note. I got one of those assholes out there to write it for. You idiots not put that at that time. You gotta put it in the Google Calendar, guys.
Yeah, if it ain't in the Google Calendar, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's like, it's been planned for 6 weeks. Why didn't you put it in the calendar then? Oh. But hey, I guess people can put in their calendars, though. Next week's episode of Miami Minutes, because... I'm all noted out for minute 46. So
I am as well. I am. It's one of those minutes where, there's it's a great minute, but there's not a lot going on. It's like two things, So I think we've covered.
There's more going on this minute than there is next minute. So.
Well, but weirdly, sometimes when it's those kind of in-depth ones, you've got a bit more to say. Whereas this is staring at a note, going, I guess we've got to fight them, and someone saying, "Don't you fight them."
Yeah. Of course, the ominous note in the background.
That's the cliff notes for you. Just that's all you need to know, people. That's the minute. There you go. Boom. See ya. Do join us, though, next week for minute 47. And join us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just look us up, Miami Minutes. We're on all of the above.
Feel free to come on down to Pound Town. We're there most weekends,
do let me know in advance, though, so I can prepare. Got to have a quick rinse around the key areas.
Yeah, you got to put on your white polo shirt and black suit for get the full-on Jeff experience.
The Jeff experience. Oh,
that's his band. He's just like, I'm going to wipe out Dragon Sound, and then I'm going to take over that club, and I'm going to play the Jeff experience every night.
Oh my God, the showdown at the end should basically be like Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Where he's fighting the DJ. Guys.
Yeah, the two Asian guys with the big friggin' giant electric gorilla and stuff came out. Yeah. I remember that's all changed from the comics. I remember I knew the comics going into the film, and just been like, oh my God, this is so much better. Like it really was like Edgar Wright going, you know what? I'm just gonna improve this for you.
Just a little tweak here, a little tweak there.
I'm pretty faithful for the most part, but I'm gonna just make this way better.
And that's the only way to make Miami Minutes better, is throw that in. And do also go to our network, Sleepy Charlie Media, on Patreon and TeePublic for bonus stuff and merchandise. And yes, we shall break the connection once again. Taekwondo family.
Listen to me.